Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, dear handball friends, it is a great pleasure to welcome you on behalf of the European Handball Federation and the Handball Federation of Portugal to the final tournament draw of the Men's 20 EHF EURO 2022, which will take place in Gondomar, Matosinhos and Vila Nova de Gaia from 7th to 17th of July 2022. Welcome to Gondomar and to the final tournament draw. My name is Duarte Monteiro and I will be your host for this draw event. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I now ask your attention for the promotional video of the Men's 20 EHF EURO. Well, we will now like to welcome Mr. Michael Widerer, the President of the European Handball Federation, and Mr. Miguel Laranjeiro, the President of the Handball Federation of Portugal. I would now ask Mr. Miguel Laranjeiro to come to the stage for his words of welcome.
Thank you, Duarte. Good morning, all. Mr. Michael Widerer, President of the European Handball Federation, my friend. Mr. Marco Martins, Mayor of Gondomar, Vasco Pinho, Sports Councillor of Matosinhos, Mário Duarte, members of the Municipality of Vila Nova de Gaia, Luís Pedro Martins, President of the Tourism of Porto and North of Portugal, players, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear handball friends. First of all, I would like to thank you very much for being here today, all of you, and honoring us with your presence at this draw, Men 20 EHF EURO. Dear President Michael Widerer, thank you for the trust given to Portugal to organize this Euro. It's very important for us, it's very important for Portuguese Federation, and it's very important for Portuguese handball. Portugal is a handball country and is also your home. You know that. You are every day, every time welcome here. I would like also to thank the government and to the National Sports Authority, EPDJ, here with Vitor Martins, is here, Vitor Dias, sorry, is here, and all municipalities involved, Gondomar, Matosinhos, and Vila Nova de Gaia. Your cooperation in all this preparation in the last months has been excellent and extremely positive. Thank you very much for these three municipalities. We wish to organize a European Championship that will remain in the memories of all handball fans. It's our goal. We hope that the pandemic effects will be easier to deal with by next July, between 7 and 17 of July. And therefore, I would like to invite all fans, invite families of the players to come to north of Portugal to visit this region, our heritage, the organizing cities, and have fun watching good handball games. We will make our best for you to have a memorable stay. Best of luck to all countries and participants in this draw and in all championship men 20. Thank you very much, and you have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Laranjeiro. Now I'm happy to invite the President of the EHF, Mr. Michael Widerer, for his speech.
Dear President, thank you for the nice words. Dear representatives of the municipalities and the authorities, media guests, but especially those coming from our sport, having been active or being active currently, and who will take a part in the drawing of the lots. Youth handball, junior handball, we summarize this under younger age categories, falls under the most important activities of the EHF. This is producing the next generations, and because of that we have introduced a system of many competitions, up to 5 for the younger age category players, both men and women. And understanding that Portugal and the Portuguese Federation is always very much devoted to the development of young players, it's not by chance that the first ever played championship of the European Handball Federation in 1992 was won by the Portuguese men's youth team. I remember that because it was the start of the EHF, and it was also the time when I started to work for the EHF, and I remember in Winterthur the final of that. It's also not by chance that we are here in the region of Porto, having seen in 1994 the men's Euro, which was a success, which was an important start for the Euros, the way we are showing handball now to the outside world. I've listened to this word of pandemic, and I would like to repeat what I stated on other occasions. We need to play, otherwise we do not exist. And this was our strategy within the last 2.5 years. And this was also the reason why we played last year a men's 19 championship, just not to let a generation of players out who missed in the year before the men's 18. Now we are in the men 20, and Portugal, who is a permanent guest among the best teams, is organizing this championship. I'm pretty sure that we will see a top-level championship here in the region, and I'm really looking forward to the result of the draw. I wish you all the best, and please let the draw start.
Thank you, Mr. Widerer, oder Dankeschön. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready to start with the final draw for the men's 20 EHF Euro 2022, which all of you, I know, you have been eagerly awaiting. The men's 20 EHF Euro 22 will be the 13th edition of the respective event. And now we will start with the draw proceedings. Altogether, 16 teams will participate in the men's 20 EHF Euro 2022. Croatia, Denmark, Spain, France, Germany, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Norway, Portugal, Slovenia, Serbia, and Sweden have qualified via the M19 EHF Euro 2021 in Croatia, the Faroe Islands and Montenegro and Poland as the winners of the M19 EHF Championships, which all took place in August 2021, as the 18 events planned for the summer 2020 were postponed due to the pandemic. The preliminary round of the Men's 20 EHF Euro 2022 will be played in 4 groups with 4 teams in each group. The venues for the preliminary round are Multiusos de Gondomar, in Gondomar, Centro de Desportos e Congressos de Matosinhos, in Matosinhos, and Pavilhão Municipal de Vila Nova de Gaia, in Vila Nova de Gaia. The 2 best teams from each group will qualify for the main round to decide places 1 to 8, whilst the 3rd and 4th place teams will meet in the intermediate round, place 9 to 16. The 2 best ranked teams of each main round group will qualify for the final matches, whilst the rest of the teams will play the placement matches 5 to 16. The 16 participating teams are seeded in 4 pots based on the ranking of the younger age category competitions valid for the Men's 20 EHF Euro 2022. You will see the seeding of the 4 pots here in the screen in front of you. We will draw first pot 4, then pot 3 and pot 1. Portugal, as the host in pot 2, has the right to choose the group after the rows 4, 3 and 1 are determined. The draw of pot 4, 3 and 1 is taking place now, and starting with pot 4, that includes Serbia, Poland, the Faroe Islands and Montenegro, continuing then with pot 3, Hungary, France, Norway and Italy, then followed by pot 1, that includes Germany, Croatia, Spain and Slovenia, and finally pot 2, the pot of the organizers Portugal, together with Denmark, Sweden and Iceland. Please refer to the teams in the red balls and the groups in the white balls. Portugal can be easily identified by the blue ball. Teams are drawn from pot 4 to row 4, from pot 3 to row 3, pot 1 to row 1, and the remaining spaces are to be drawn and assigned. Now that we are all well informed about the technical procedures of this draw, I would like to say our guests for today's draw. We are going to be assisted by Mr. Marco Martins, the president of the Gondomar's municipality, by Mr. Vasco Pinho, city councillor of Matosinhos municipality, Mr. Mário Duarte, sports director of the municipality of Gaia, the head coach of the M20 team of Portugal, Mr. Carlos Martinho, as well as by the captain of the M20 team of Portugal, Mr. André Sousa, and Mr. Martim Costa, player of the M20 team of Portugal. Also with us today, Mr. Rui Silva, captain of the senior national team of Portugal, Mr. Fábio Magalhães, also from the senior national team and the most international player in activity, and Mr. Carlos Rezende. All players from different generations, but for sure role models for many of the young players who will participate at the Men 20s EHF Euro 2022. Also today, here with us is Mr. Mario Kovacic. He is the director of the national team's competitions of the EHF. He will personally supervise and assist with this draw. Thank you, Mario. Well, I would now, let's start with the draw of row 4, and for that I would like to invite Mr. Marco Martins and Mr. Rui Silva to assist with drawing of row 4. Please come to the stage.
How are you? Good morning.
So before we start with the draw, I have one question for each of you. I will start with the Mayor Marco Martins. Hello, welcome. Gondomar has a tradition of hosting several high-level sports competitions within the last couple of years. Are you ready to up the level again one more time by hosting this Euro EHF Men's 20?
Yeah, yes, good morning, Frau. Welcome to Gondomar. We are more than ready. Also, we have in Gondomar, with our pavilion multi-use, big happenings of sports. Handball, football, futsal, and most of them. And we have a big public participating, and I think with this event, in July of 2022, we can increase the modality in Portugal and in Gondomar, obviously, and also to all Europe will be a big event. So we have daily and weekly more than 300 young athletes partaking in handball. When I was young, I also had 10, 11, 12 years. I was a player also, but then I could go with that. So we're going to have a big competition with big players, with big help of federation and other municipalities. So it will be a pleasure to Gondomar receive and this campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Rui, you were part of a generation that achieved a silver medal at a young age category European Championship. As the captain of Portugal, how do you feel about Portugal receiving this European Championship, and what will it mean for this generation?
I think it's amazing for how our handball have this opportunity, and we have to say thankful to the EHF Federation to give this chance to Portugal. I think we have an amazing generation, our future of handball, with good coaches, with amazing players too, and I think they have everything to make a good result, and maybe they have the chance to make better than us. They play at home with our fans, and I think it's a big opportunity to them, a little bit of pressure, but I think it's a little bit of part of this sport, and I think they are prepared to make a very good result.
Thank you both. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with the draw now of Pot 4. As you can see, the teams in Pot 4 are as follow: Serbia, Poland, the Faroe Islands, and Montenegro. First, we will start with the drawing of the teams from the red balls with the mayor, and then we will move on with the drawing of the groups from the white balls. So I think we can now start the draw. I would ask the mayor to draw the first team.
Okay, the first one will be Faroe Islands.
So we have the Faroe Islands.
Faroe Islands. Okay.
Now I would like to ask Mr. Rui Silva to draw the group in which the Faroe Islands will be seated.
Group B.
So now we have the Faroe Islands in Group B. Mayor, please show us the next national team.
Poland.
Poland. Now we will know by the drawing of Mr. Rui Silva in which group Poland will be.
Group A.
The Polish national team goes to Group A. So now we continue.
Stop, please. We have Montenegro.
Montenegro. Time now to know in which group we will have Montenegro.
Group C.
Group C for Montenegro. Now, last but not least, the last ball.
It's easy, this one.
But still, the ball needs to be open.
At least Serbia.
Serbia. Let's see if it fits. You can open the ball.
It's better to be a D.
Group D.
Group D for Serbia. So this completes the draw for row 4. I would like to thank to Mr. Mark Martins and Mr. Rui Silva for your assistance. You can now take your seats back. So to summarize row 4, so that we have everything in mind all the time, we have Poland in Group A, we have the Faroe Islands in Group B, we have Montenegro in Group C, and Serbia in Group D. This was row 4. We are now continuing with the draw of pot 3. The preparations are going well. So I would like to welcome on stage the City Councillor of Matosinhos, Mr. Vasco Pinho, and also Mr. Martin Costa for the draw for the row 3. Welcome to both of you. Also, one question for each one of you. I will start with Mr. Vasco Pinho. Your municipality was invaluable during several moments for Portuguese handball, starting, of course, with the first qualification for the European Championship since 2006. Do you think this time it can also work as a lucky charm?
Hello to all. We, in the past, have been good chance for Portugal national teams. We hope that this time will be again a lucky charm for Portugal. But most of all, we hope and want that all national teams that goes and visit Matosinhos and plays in Matosinhos feels at home. Obviously, we want Portugal to make success. We hope so. Our municipality is known as the house of the national teams because we host almost all main sports in indoor sports. So we hope to again be the moment to get to have a great luck for the national team.
Thank you very much. Martin Costa is a name you hear a lot in Portuguese handball, a family that comes from a tradition of top-level handball players. How will you feel about representing Portugal in this European Championship, especially since you were injured the last time Portugal played the major tournament?
Hello everyone. It's always a pleasure to represent the national team in this kind of competitions. The last competition I was unable to help the team because of the knee injury, but now I feel good and ready to help the team achieve the best place that we can get and hopefully the gold medal.
Thank you very much to both of you. Now let's go to the drawing of the row 3. As before, we will start with the teams in the red balls and then the groups in the white balls. The pot 3 consists of the following national teams: Hungary, France, Norway and Italy. So get ready for drawing pot 3, and I will ask Mr. Vasco Pinho to draw the first ball.
Italy.
Italy. It's the first team drawn from pot 3. Now we would like to know in which group Italy will fit.
Group D.
Group D for Italy. So let's move to the next red ball, Mr. Vasco Pinho.
Hungary.
Hungary is the next national team drawn. Now I ask Mr. Martin Costa to draw the group.
Group B.
Group B for Hungary. We'll put in Group B. So let's move on. Please take the next ball.
France.
And the third country drawn is France. Mr. Martin Costa will now draw the group in which France will be put in.
Group C.
We have France in Group C. And now the last two balls. As before, just to check if everything fits.
And for sure it was Norway.
Norway is the last team drawn in this pot 3. And now Mr. Martin Costa will take the last ball of the group.
Group A.
And we have, of course, Norway in Group A. And this completes the row number 3. I will thank Both of you, you can go back to your seats. And in the meantime, we will summarize what we already have in front of us. We have in Group A, Norway and Poland. We have in Group B, Hungary and the Faroe Islands. In Group C, France and Montenegro. And in Group D, Italy and Serbia. This is row number 3. We are now getting prepared to draw row number 1, or in this case, pot number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, for that, I would like to welcome the City Sports Director of Vila Nova de Gaia on stage, and also Mr. Carlos Rezende, a great role model of Portuguese handball, to join us here both on stage to draw the teams for row 1. And, of course, you're not any different of any other that were here before. I have one question for both of you. Let's start with Mr. Mário Duarte. Gaia has been one of the epicenters of the development in handball in Portugal. How do you feel about welcoming one of the main European competitions in a young age?
Okay, good morning for all. Gaia is known as the land of port wine, but it's also the land of handball, because we have great traditions in this modality in Vila Nova de Gaia. We have almost 1,000 athletes of handball. We have 7 clubs. We have national champions. We have players that is champions for the teams, and we privilege the training of youngsters. So these championships represents an excellent opportunity for motivation and encouragement for our youngsters, and a stimulus for the contribution of handball development.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, one of the biggest references in Portuguese handball with an impressive tracking record of more than 230 games and 1,300 goals for Portugal, Mr. Carlos Rezende. How do you see the changes in handball from your time to the current times?
Thanks a lot for the question. Good morning to all. So right now there are very different type of handball playing. I must say that I love the handball today, and I'm very pleased to see that we have a very good generation, and I sincerely hope that this event will be a good opportunity to them to grow, not just for win, but to grow as a player and to become Portugal in the future as a country very important in having a very good results like that we are beginning to have right now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mário Duarte and Mr. Carlos Rezende. Now, to the drawing of row 1. You can see on the screen the teams in pot 1. They are Germany, Croatia, Spain, and Slovenia. Ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead with drawing of pot 1. Mr. Mário Duarte already took the lead by taking the first ball.
Germany.
Germany, it's the first team of pot 1 getting drawn. Now, Mr. Carlos Rezende, please draw the first group of pot 1.
So, Group D.
Group D, Germany goes to Group D. Now, Mr. Mário Duarte, please draw the second ball.
Spain.
Spain. And now, Mr. Carlos Rezende will draw the group for Spain.
So, Group A.
Group A. Spain goes to Group A. Now, please draw the next.
Croatia.
We have Croatia, and now Mr. Carlos Gazende will assign a group for Croatia.
Group C.
Group C for Croatia. And like the times before, we go to the last ball of the national teams.
Slovenia.
Slovenia is the last national team drawn, and Mr. Carlos Gazende will draw the next group, in this case, the last group of pot 1.
Group B.
Group B. Slovenia goes to Group B. To both of you, thank you very much for your assistance. You can now go back to your seats. So this completes the draw for row 1. Again, thank you very much to all of you that have been assisting to this draw. Let's summarize what we have right now before a very important moment in this draw. But first of all, let's remember we have in Group A, Spain, Norway and Poland. In Group B, Slovenia, Hungary and the Faroe Islands. We have in Group C, Croatia, France and Montenegro. And in Group D, Germany, Italy and Serbia. So this means that after completing the drawing of pot 1, we have reached the point that Portugal, as the organizer, has the right in choosing one of the groups. The organizer, in this case Portugal, has the right to choose between the group A, B, C or D. Mr. Carlos Martinho will now conference with his assistant coaches for a bit to choose the group for Portugal. While he is conferencing with his assistants, we have always on the screen the recap of the group so far, Group A, Group B, Group C and Group D. To remember again, Group A with Spain, Norway and Poland, Group B with Slovenia, Hungary, the Faroe Islands and the Faroe Islands, Group C with Croatia, France and Montenegro, and Group D with Germany, Italy and Serbia. I don't know if the decision is made. If yes, I would like to invite the head coach of the M20s team of Portugal, Mr. Carlos Martinho, to come and to join us on stage. Welcome. Before you give us your answer, of course, also a question for you. Mr. Carlos Martinho, the national team you've coached have performed well in the past couple of years, both in the World Cup and in the European Championship. How do you think the home element will fit in your goal of achieving even better result?
Good morning, everyone. First of all, it's a great honor and a great responsibility to play in our home. Of course, we have big expectations for this competition, but we also know we play against top teams and top players, and between top teams and top players, everything can happen. Of course, we hope with our family, friends, and fans, we can make a fantastic result.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carlos Martinho, please now take the blue ball for Portugal. And after that, please inform your decision in respect of the preferred group.
We choose Group A.
First, show the name of Portugal. Portugal in the blue ball, everything right. And after deciding the group, Portugal will go to Group A. Thank you, Mr. Carlos Martinho, for your decision and to let us know in which group we will have Portugal. So this is a very important moment, of course, for the host in this draw. Now that we know in which group Portugal will be, in Group A, together with the neighbor, Spain and Norway and Poland. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the captain of the Portuguese national team, Mr. André Sousa and Mr. Fábio Magalhães, to assist with the drawing of the remaining 3 teams to row 2. Thank you to both of you. Also a question for each of you. Let's start with André as captain of this national team. You are the man who will lead Portugal in this European Championship. Do you feel the extra responsibility for playing at home?
Playing in European is always a great experience for any player. Of course, playing it at home makes this event even more special and important for us. On the one hand, yes, I think we have some more responsibility because we want to achieve in an even better place and reach as far as we can. But on the other hand, I think it's great. We are going to have the possibility to play in front of our fans and family, and I hope they'll give us the strength we need to win. So now it's our job to make a good preparation, and I hope we achieve a really nice place.
Thank you very much, André. Fabio, you are one of the most international players with more than 160 caps for Portugal. How do you see this younger generation developing since you also started playing for the national team at a very young age?
I'm very pleased to be here in the growing of these guys. I have the opportunity to train with them in the club and in the national team, and they are doing a great job. And I think with a lot of work, they are guys that work a lot, and they are going to achieve great things in the future. And they have to start now in their own home, playing this important competition to make the best job they can and the best place they can.
Thank you both for your words. Now we can continue and draw the remaining teams that are Denmark, Sweden and Iceland, as you can see on the screen. So please, let's start the draw. I would like to ask Mr. André Sousa to first, in this case, Mr. Fábio Magalhães to draw the first ball.
Iceland.
Iceland is the first team draw. Now, Mr. André Sousa will tell us the group for Iceland.
Group D.
And Iceland goes to Group D. Next ball of the national teams will be drawn now.
Sweden.
And we have Sweden, that Mr. André Sousa will now tell us in which group it will be.
Group C.
And Sweden goes to Group C. And the very last ball of this not the very last, but the very last national team drawn today will be
Denmark.
Denmark, and the Danish national team will be
Group B.
in Group B. Thank you very much to both of you. You can go back to your seats. This completes the draw for the men's 20 EHF Euro 2022, and you can now see the final results of the draw on the screen in front of you. So let's have a look to the table and summarize what we have and which groups we will have next summer in this EHF Euro. Group A, Spain, Portugal, Norway and Poland. In Group B, we're going to have Slovenia, Denmark, Hungary and the Faroe Islands. In Group C, Croatia, Sweden, France and Montenegro. And in Group D, we have Germany, Iceland, Italy and Serbia. So finally, we wish all teams, of course, good luck with their M20 EHF Euro 22 matches. And of course, thank you for your attention. We are looking forward to very, very exciting men's 20 EHF Euro matches and a great event with the first throw-off on July 7th, 2022. Thank you very much to all of you.